I have literally spent my day shoving like everything I own, not really, but a bunch of stuff into suitcases. And it's been a long time since I've gone on vacation somewhere cold. So I forget how fluffy warm things are. And I had to like rummage around and find some like seriously disused like vacuum seal bags to like vacuum Uggs into so that they stopped being so fluffy.
You vacuum sealed your Uggs?
Yeah.
That's such a baller move. It's like, sure.
Yeah, and my pillow, because I don't travel without my pillow. I'm so picky.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, you know, everyone's got their own pillow. I totally get it. So,
Yeah.
you can't trust these hotels sometimes, man. They are sometimes not good. So I get it. I see you.
Hotel pillows are notoriously low quality, so I don't blame you on that bit at all.
Oh, 100%.
They're
100%.
It depends on if you like feather down or not, and I'm like not a big fan of being poked in the face by some disused goose feathers. So no.
You basically pay for what you get with the hotel room. Do you want cheap and bad pillows, or do you want fancier pillows at a more expensive rate? So.
Also suck. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to another week of Taps, folks. It's we got a brand new dynamic here, and we'll dive into it in a minute. But as you all know, this is your weekly dose of AHL hockey action and just total chaos, awesome vibes. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dee.
And rejoining the cast after, I mean, it's been a bit of a hiatus, man. Welcome back, Zach Martin. How are you now?
Oh, doing good, thanks. Yeah, it's been a bit, eh? Yeah, I think July of last year is when I officially left, and you know, it's good to be back. You know, I love that just coming back and just sliding in as like a surprise, and everyone's like, "What?" So it was nice that it just kind of worked out that way. It would have been funnier though if the application on the website worked, because I was going to surprise Deanna, but dang you, Google CAPTCHA just wasn't feeling it. But no, honestly, it's good to be back. It's fun just being able to talk AHL with a group that really focuses on it. Plus, I mean, Taps is the place to be. It's the vibes, it's the chaos. Basically what the AHL is in a nutshell, but just in a podcast form. So yeah, I appreciate the invite. I've been really looking forward to jumping on with you guys. It's always a fun time.
Just couldn't stay away. You know what? I can't blame
no. Well, the funny part was my picture on the website was not taken down since I left, so it was still there. So like, hey, look at that. Manifesting. It worked. You can't stay away too long.
Zach really tried to make it on his own, but just when he thought he was out, we pulled him back in.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. That's kind of how it works. It's just you can't stay away for too long. So I'm back and I'm covering the Charlotte Checkers again, which is fun. So okay, at least I gotta cover the one Southeastern team in the entire league. So why not, right?
Perfect, because we got some Checkers talk actually to kind of kick us off.
Okay. All right. I can get back in my Checkers mindset here. It's been a bit.
We're throwing you right into the fire early on.
I wonder why it was a little warm in here, Andrew. You should have warned me, man. What are you doing?
Well, you should always know when the redhead's in the room. Like, you got to be prepared.
Oh, see, that's why I went wrong. Gosh.
So
I'll remember for next time.
This is a unique situation coming out of here. So a lot of AHL fans out there familiar with Chase DeLeo. I mean, the guy's been in the league for a while and been piling up the points left and right, whether you're a fan of San Diego, Utica, whatever. He's made his mark in the league. Tried his hand over in Europe at the start of the season in the KHL and in Switzerland. Signed a contract with the Charlotte Checkers, and a rule that I don't think a lot of fans are very familiar with out there, where if a player starts their season off in a pro season overseas and then signs a contract, you have to pass through waivers in the American Hockey League. And lo and behold, the Milwaukee Admirals saw DeLeo available and were like, yoink, we'll be having that. Yep, they claimed DeLeo off waivers, and he was expecting to kind of be down in the Southeast and North Carolina. Now he's going to end up in Wisconsin. So, yeah, bit of a bummer for the Lakers there, huh?
Just a little bit for the fact, you don't have Lucas Carlson down there, which you're kind of used to. I mean, yeah, you do have Trevor Carrick, but, again, DeLeo would have been another great, fantastic addition to the blue line, especially for Jordan Kinnear's team, who are, still sitting pretty good. Third place in the Atlantic, can't be mad about that. But, yeah, getting him would have been kind of nice. And the funny you mentioned the Milwaukee Admirals after they play the Iowa Wild on Wednesday night, when we're recording, they get them on Friday and Saturday in Milwaukee before they go back to Iowa for a random one-gamer because AHL scheduling just makes so much sense. But, yeah, it's going to be very interesting when you see the Checkers going to Milwaukee and you get to see the guy they tried to sign, and Milwaukee's like, nope, we will that thing you want? Yeah, no, that's ours now. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. But, yeah, it's unfortunate circumstances. And like I said, that's the rule. I know we have like the waivers going from the NHL to the AHL, but coming over from Europe, that's new one for me too, Andrew. Never knew that was a rule. Now we know it. It's like, well, welcome to the chaos of the American Hockey League, I guess. It's like, sure, that makes sense. Here's a rule.
So rude of the Admirals, though. Like, you guys didn't do any of the work, and now you get all of. The Milwaukee Admirals are acting suspiciously like middle managers right now.
I mean, am I surprised? No, it's Milwaukee. They're basically the Hershey Bears of the Midwest. Just doing whatever they want, no big deal. And people are like, those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys.
None of the work, all of the rewards.
I'm curious to learn more about how it all works because, right, in the NHL, the teams at the bottom of the league get the first pick-ins on waivers, right?
Yeah, that's how it usually is.
If I was Chicago, I would have hoped that they would have put a claim in and would have beaten Milwaukee to the punch there, but
yeah, but in the AHL, apparently it's alphabetical by team nickname, so Admirals comes first.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was that.
If that was actually it, you know what? If that was actually it, I would not be shocked. Like that.
I would.
Why does that make sense?
My team name changed to the Aardvarks.
Just like
no, just the A's. It's just the A with the apostrophe, and that's it. It's like we beat everyone. We're gonna Price is Right everyone with one letter, not a name.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, it's
$1. $1.
It's a weird situation, but I especially me covering two Central Division teams. Don't like seeing a guy with 500 AHL games coming in and almost 400 points in his career to a division rival and a team in Milwaukee that's already scary enough. And it's like,
we would have loved that down here in Charlotte. That would have been a fantastic addition to a team that, like I said, is in third, not 1 point back of second place against Providence, and they're not that far back of Hershey for first place. Of course, as you both know, the Atlantic is always crazy because every team wants to be within 1 point of each other between 7 spots. So, yeah, him on the blue line would have been great. Would have loved to see it, but apparently we all can't have nice things. So, thanks, Milwaukee.
Yeah, thank your friendly neighborhood Admirals for that one.
Milwaukee.
We moving on. We got our player of the week was announced for last week. Abbotsford's Atu Ratu. I always love pronouncing that name, and it's always so much fun once I actually learn how to get a hold of it.
It's not even hard. It's just Finnish.
It's not like phonetically, like it throws me off.
That's the thing. It is phonetic, but it's Finnish.
I mean. You had Juha Jaska, Andrew. Like, come on, what are we doing? Hey, you know what?
I hear his name on the broadcast 30 times in a game, so it's easier for me, and it's all A's. The Y ending and the two pronunciation throws me off. But
hey, you know what? There's a great thing called Babbel. You can learn Finnish.
We're not sponsored by Babbel.
I know, but hey,
Officially.
but if they want to,
We're still working on that one.
Still working on it.
babble.
But yeah, Ratu with in 4 games over the past week, 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points, really wheeling and dealing up there. And considering, all the kind of chaos going on with the Vancouver version of the Canucks, gotta wonder when are they gonna give this guy a chance? If JT Miller and Elias Pettersson aren't really doing it in the locker room, maybe they can bring this kid up and kind of spark this team to kind of really start and get it going.
I think this is like a breakout year for him, 100%. He's been super like middle of the pack for like younger players for a while. He's really developing and really coming into his own and finding his identity as a player. And all of that like projected upside that he had coming into both leagues is starting to come out and show and shine. And the problem is that I don't even think that he's going to make it to Vancouver, because I think if somebody's smart, they scoop him up.
Yeah, I mean, like what Dee said, like I think any team would foam at the mouth to go get this guy, and it's just, and even if the Canucks do figure it out of what they're going to do with their 2 guys, yeah, it's just, that's a situation where it's like, do you want to take that chance on bringing him up now, and if something happens, then it's like, okay, have fun trying to send him back, and teams are like, do it, please try to put him back in average for, because someone's going to take this guy. Like, when you see an upside that he has right now in the way he's been playing, I don't think there's any team that would hesitate. It'd be like the minute his name pops up at 2:00 on Elliot Friedman's account, boom, instantly gone within a minute, because everyone would want him. Like, it'd be dumb for the Canucks to be like, oh, let's give him a shot and see what happens, then we could send him down.
I think there's also the possibility that we see him wrapped up in a trade at the trade deadline.
That's very possible too, because that someone's going to ask for him if they're looking for a blockbuster or some filler to make it work for them. If the Canucks are going for, if they're salary cap dumping or trying to flip a big trade on it, I could definitely see that happening too. Where it's like, yeah, if you want us to take this contract, you give us that guy as well for a little bit of a sweetener.
And I'm just happy to see him playing well. I know he was a big piece of that Bo Horvat trade, and it's been almost 2 years since that now. And it's been, I mean, not everyone's developmental cycle is linear, and he's been, he's had his ups, he's also had his downs, and now you feel those ups are starting to get more consistent from him, and you're starting to see him just be a bigger impact in the game night in and night out. And I hope he continues this upward trajectory, because I think he does have, I mean, we've seen those flashes and promise in his game. That's why he's been such a big commodity over the years. And now it's like, all right, he's starting to live up to that. That's kind of why I was like, all right, let's see if Vancouver will give him a chance and see if his game will really kind of start to take off from there. But it's a chaotic world up there in British Columbia right now. We'll just kind of have to see how they're doing.
I am glad, though, speaking of all the chaos that's going on with Vancouver, I am so glad, though, that Abby is not really feeling too many of the effects of that. A lot of times we see a struggling team that just cannot figure it out, and it trickles all the way down. Abby is this one super refreshing little bright spot of, even if it's chaotic, in the big house, it can be still good, and everybody's still working together in the AHL, and that's what it should be. And I've complained about this multiple times with multiple teams, San Jose. Sorry. But yeah, it's refreshing to see that kind of toxicity is not impeding any of the young players in Abbotsford.
I'm looking at you, New York Islanders and Anaheim. You guys, it's one thing to be bad for years up in the big club, but you're letting those AHL teams. I've seen San Diego at the bottom of the Pacific Division standings for 5 years in a row now. Get it together.
Well, I think for Bridgeport, I mean, you're letting those really nice jerseys look bad. I don't know if you want to watch some bad hockey and those things. Oof, Maroons. Hey, it's great. Hey, look at the jerseys are amazing. The team, though, absolutely stings. Throw them in the ocean.
I'm pretty sure under a 300 points percentage. I mean, Utica started off the year losing 12 straight games. We wondered if they were ever going to win, and they ran past the Islanders in the standings.
There's
here, like, what is going on with how bad this team is? They can't be fun. Like, it can't be fun.
there's bad hockey, and then there's bad in bold capital letters. Bad.
With a hockey stick is the B. Sorry.
Exactly.
Oh, that's just too on brand.
Have we ever mentioned that the Bridgeport Islanders, their like sweaters just kind of look like the Halifax Highlanders from Goon, and their problem is that it's too derivative, not even just of the New York Islanders?
I don't think we've discussed that much of it yet, but it can't work if you don't have a Xavier Laflemme or a Doug Blatt.
And that's their problem. All right, so Bridgeport, listen to me. Hear me out.
We found your problem.
Higher.
Let me run your PR marketing team, and we'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. You know, if you're gonna look bad, let's make it fun bad.
It makes me really wonder about the Wolves of last season, because Chris Terry spent the year with Chicago last year. Actually had a really good year for offensively, and then left that and went back to Bridgeport.
He must be a masochist, because he must really love playing for bad hockey teams. Like, you must love to suck.
I feel for the guy. I hope he's happy on the island of Bridgeport, which is not an island.
No, it is an island. It's a social island. It's where hopes and dreams go to die.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I mean, right now, yeah, like which island do you really want to be on? The actual island or that island of just hopes and dreams dying in not even the Misfit toy style? Like, oof.
I feel like we all went to an American high school, so we've all been on that island before. What other notable things are there to do in Bridgeport other than like name your original hockey team kind of after P.T. Barnum?
Leave.
Anything? Does anybody know? Has anybody been?
I've driven through. No.
They have a zoo. Oh, they have a P.T. Barnum museum.
That's uncanny for the fact you mentioned it and then found out there's a museum after the fact.
Oh, I hate P.T. Barnum. Have we not talked about how we burned that whale alive?
Oh yeah, we've mentioned that on the show. We've talked about how cursed this franchise is actually.
And that's your problem. P.T. Barnum is haunting your franchise. You might.
It's so bad the fact you go from the Sound Tigers to the Islanders.
Yeah, but the Sound Tigers were named after P.T. Barnum.
That's very true. So yeah, you're basically just cursed from the jump. So yeah, you can't take that stink off it. So
there's no going back.
Yeah, there's Hugh Jackman can only salvage your reputation so much, but that was a bad musical. So what did it really do? Nothing. I hope the ghost of P.T. Barnum understands how much I hate him.
I don't know if he understands that, but I hope he does understand that his hockey team is awful.
Yeah.
Probably going to continue to be awful. We'll see.
It's like, here's my question though. If you're a free agent and you have the choice between the San Diego Gulls or the Bridgeport Islanders, who do you sign with?
The San Diego
doesn't matter because Milwaukee takes you off waivers.
The San Diego Bulls. At least you're in San Diego. Like, do you know how much fun things to do there are in San Diego? Like,
oh my
god. I'm sorry. I just checked the live score while we're recording. There's 4 minutes left in the first period. The Utica that I just said, that team that lost 12 straight games at the beginning of the year, is up 5-0 on Bridgeport. The vibes are at an all-time low.
With 4 minutes left in the first period, and it's already 5-0.
It's 5-0. They have more goals than Bridgeport has shots.
How many shots do they have? 4?
They scored 40 seconds in, and I can already feel that they just gave up. Like,
you have to imagine that barn is pretty empty almost every night in Bridgeport. Like, why would you even want to go?
I would love to know the attendance number. Well, it's in Utica, so maybe not.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, and because you imagine down 5-0 with 4 minutes left in your own barn. Oh gosh,
Jack Malone had a natural hat trick in 7 minutes and 33 seconds.
How does this keep getting worse than the score already being 5-0? Then you get Natty hat tricked on. There's no way, dude. 7 minutes? Some guys would love to see that in a game.
In a career. God. Some people don't even get hat tricks in an entire multi-year career.
Some guys would love to see what a national hat trick feels like. Is 7 minutes, no big deal. Like get on my level, guys. It's like, well, pardon me, I guess.
No, what's that thing they used to say in like NHL 23? It's pad the stats night in Utica.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
Yes.
And it's you just see Bridgeport on the schedule and you just lick your chops. Like, this is a point night coming up.
Andrew, this is what you think of like late 90s, early 2000s NHL, where it's like if you're Detroit, Colorado, New Jersey, and you're looking at, okay, so we have Atlanta, and then we have this really bad team, this really bad team, this really bad team. Oh, look at an expansion team. Okay, cool. There's like, 10 points in the span of 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We'll have our 12 Hall of Famers go out there and absolutely just murk you for like 6 or 7 goals a night. And our goalie, 5 shots against, no big deal. That's what it feels like when you see these teams. You're like, okay.
Contracts are built on nights like this.
Just get absolutely smacked. It's like, how would you want this beating? Quick or slow?
Well, we went off script off there, but that's okay because that needed to be discussed.
That's
we got one more bit of news to cover over from this last week. We had a big blockbuster trade in the NHL. It involved the San Jose Sharks acquiring Pavel Regenda from the Anaheim Ducks for Justin Bailey. If you were expecting a real blockbuster, well, a couple AHL forwards really kind of moving here. That's why we're discussing it. And I on the surface, I think it's a couple of guys who really just kind of needed some fresh starts. And, it's great when you see teams kind of like, okay, I know Regenda had been in San Diego for a couple of seasons. He feels like he's probably not getting the kind of playing time or the vibes in San Diego, like not being all that great. And the Anaheim kind of allowing him to pursue opportunities elsewhere by moving him to a different franchise. And the same for Bailey. I think when Bailey first arrived in San Jose, they were a team that was kind of down in the dumps. And now that they're on the rise, he's kind of been pushed down the depth chart a little bit at the CUDA. You're probably not going to have a hard time getting a lot of ice time in San Diego. So I think this is a win for both players.
Sometimes you got to get a change of scenery, and that means if you're going from San Diego to the thrilling city of San Jose, take your opportunities when you get them, I guess. And
hey, don't knock San Jose. San Jose is a wonderful city, actually.
You called it.
I've been there. It's nice. It's great. But what would you pick that over San Diego? No, but it's still nice though. It's serviceable.
I would because I.
Would you take W's in San Jose or L's in San Diego?
What did I listen? Okay, look. I love California, right? I have a lot of opinions about California. Okay, I would prefer being closer to the Bay Area. The weather I like better. It gets a little colder. It's a little like rainier, foggier. Like there's just like good vibes every now and again when the fog rolls in and everything.
You get actual seasons out there because I lived in I live near Sacramento, so I get it. You get NorCal weather, not SoCal, where it's like. It's always warm.
Whereas
Why?
like San Diego, you've got to deal with the United States military and Comic-Con, and there's like a carrier for some reason. Only thing is that San Diego is right by Coronado and is right by Oceanside, and Oceanside is amazing surfing. And Coronado has that little barbecue restaurant we talked about that one time, the Little Piggies. So, there's a trade-off there. But
Been there. It's good. It's good. I've been there. It's
yeah,
pretty
I love Little
amazing.
Piggies.
So.
Every time we go to San Diego, we go to Little Piggies. We stop by Coronado. But again,
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
U.S. military. I don't really. Anyway, so San Jose every time. Like I was in the U.S. military. I feel like I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, to be fair, that is fair. Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, when you're talking about weather-wise, NorCal is better because at least you get some seasons rather than it's like, okay, here's your one and then partial of another one. So
There's like one temperature all year round, and also like you're on fire. So
yeah, so I mean, I agree with you. If we're talking weather vibes, yeah, the NorCal's a little bit better, and it's not as crazy up there. Plus, you got Lake Tahoe, which is pretty close too for snowboarding. So you got that nice little, you got the bay right there, got the mountains, same distance. Can't be upset about it. So
I take the Bay Area every time.
Which is fair.
I think if I'm going where the W's are, I think I'm with Regenda on this one.
Yeah,
and especially if Potts is leading the charge like he is, and as he usually does.
Justice for Potts.
Come on, your season's already in the tank. Give the guy another shot.
Every time it seems like it's just every year, Andrew, that we just talk about Podorowski. It's just Justice for Potts. How many
times do I need to say it?
There is the limit does not exist. The limit does not exist, Andrew. You always bring it up.
Do you know who has finally got his justice though, and he's doing so good, and I'm so proud of him? Wolf.
Dustin, yeah, Wolf definitely needed it. He's really showing out for Calder.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love it for the guy. I mean, plus his pad set up too. Whew.
I know,
sir, you need to. I know you're with the Flames, but you need to calm down. You're going to burn a lot of people's phones when they look at that stuff because that is street heat. Like that man knows pad style. I'm just saying.
But he's doing so good.
He is. Now,
the AHL goalies that have like graduated this season and have come out and surprised everybody are just killing it. Looking at you, Dobesh. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you, Jakub.
About time these guys actually get their shine. I'm curious to see, when Askarov finally gets it and see how he does too, because that guy's gonna light it up when he gets his chance. So,
yeah, but do you really want to send him to the Sharks the way that they're playing right now?
Well, no, but I'm just saying in general, I can't wait to see how he. I mean, he goes from Nashville to the Sharks. I mean, where's your situation at? Oh, UC Saros signs a really long-term contract, or you want to go to the Sharks and maybe get your shot on a team that's in the middle of a rebuild, but you do have Celebrini and Will Smith and Tyler Toffoli. So, I mean, it's not terrible, but...
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe he gets called up some random game against Tampa Bay on the road for no reason, posts a shutout, has gone 5-0-0 since then. Maybe it's good for him.
No,
yeah, maybe he just needs the right situation and the right vibes to come in. It's all about the vibes, man. You got to find it at the right time. So,
you just convinced me. I'm looking up Dobesh for my fantasy team.
We might be onto something here, guys. We might be onto something.
I'm like, these numbers are bound to regress. Says who?
Regress to the means does not exist.
Man, we're gonna live in Delulu land as long as we possibly can. We're in a wild card position.
We need something here. We need something. Give us some hope. Oh, St. Marty and St. Louis, please give us something.
Follow us for more fantasy hockey advice.
Yeah, pick up Arturi Lehkonen. You won't regret it. And I'm not even being a sarcastic Arturi Lehkonen. So good.
Bias aside. This dude is legit.
I've had him in fantasy every year since I started playing fantasy. The man has never let me down.
When in doubt, Arturi Lehkonen is the way to go. Every time.
So that was a week ago. Now we're gonna look at the week ahead. We got some intriguing matchups, and I kind of want to dive into the one where we alluded to earlier. It's the Chase the Leo sweepstakes. It's Charlotte at Milwaukee, and it's the nice little waiver wrinkle in there is an interesting storyline for sure. But at the end of the day, these are two really good hockey teams going at it. You got Milwaukee, who's represented the Central Division the last few years in the playoffs. Strong again this year, maybe not quite top of the division strong, Grand Rapids, but it's still right there in the mix. And Charlotte's battling to try and catch up to Hershey at the top of the Atlantic there. So what do you got keyed in for this matchup, Zach?
I mean, when you look at the fact that, like you said, the Checkers are not that far behind. I think the last time I checked, it was 8 points. 4-4-2 in their last 10. It's not the greatest. You're playing 500 hockey. It's okay. But when you look at the fact that John Leonard's basically right now on a career season path, already 33 points in 36 games. I think he's top 10. And I think he's like fourth in shots in the entire America with 120. But then you look at the goaltending situation. You got Ken Appleby. 4 shutouts already in 15 games. I mean, this guy has an orchard of shutouts at this point. 10-4-1 with a .907 save percentage. Oh, and here's a 2-1-2 goals against just for the fun of it. Like the fact that you got him and you got John playing so well, and you also got Trevor Carrick with 30 assists on the season as well. Like I said, just add to the apple farm that Appleby has. It's a good combination of the fact that you got guys that have been kind of journeymen who were actually on the Bridgeport Islanders, comes to Charlotte, and now they're having career seasons. Oh, look at that, how that works out. And of course, you have Jordy Kinnear as your head coach, who's now going to be, at the All-Star Classic very, very soon as one of the coaches. So, yeah, you're putting yourself into a good spot where you've got games in hand on Providence. You're 1 point back. You're only 8 back of Hershey, and you still have games in hand over, I think, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and you also got games on Hartford. Yeah, you just lost them in a sweep, but you're still talking like 4 games in hand on those guys, and you're well above them in terms of points. So you're sitting, right at exactly at halfway of the season, and you're still feeling yourself that you have a really good shot of, getting a playoff spot. It's just where are you going to be seated at? And right now, with how this team is, I would not be surprised if they do finish second in the Atlantic Division, just because of how good they've been playing under Kinnear, even with the roster changes too of, Matthew Samoskevich is now with the Florida Panthers, and he had a great rookie season last year. You don't have Lucas Carlson there anymore, but you bring in Carrick, you bring in, John Leonard and all these other guys, and you got really good goaltending too because, Spencer Knight's with Florida as well. It's just, you're building off the last season with a whole new crew that somehow the core works. And it's just that Jordy Kinnear at the helm is always doing what he does to get the Checkers in a good spot to be like, all right, every year you can just expect the guys to be right in a playoff hunt every single time.
Yep. I think Milwaukee's going to try and play head games with them. I think they're going to get
100%
this time to try and mess with the boys. But
one put it past Milwaukee because that's a Milwaukee thing that they would do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as someone who's like, you stole our guy, but yeah, I can see it.
It's going to be a real interesting one. I got this one circled on my calendar for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move out west. We're going to take a look at another Friday-Saturday matchup. Abbotsford going into Tucson. Now, the Roadrunners were top of the division last year and then got upset in the playoffs by, Dustin Wolf and the Wranglers. Abbotsford is and Tucson, they're both right there and kind of the mid bottom of the Pacific. The Canucks won 6 in a row. Ratu is on a real heater. I think this one has the potential to get chippy. I think it's got the potential to kind of have like a real playoff feel to it, especially with two teams that are jostling right in the middle of the standings. Could be really interesting.
I think it's one of those fight for your life games, and I love fight for your life games. This is going to set the tone for how you get through February and March in the last stretch of the season. This is where you start setting that tone, and I think it's going to be incredible.
Vibes. Yeah, it's definitely a tone setter. I don't think really, if you look at the Pacific Division, what is it? The top 7 teams make it. as far as I'm concerned.
I believe that's how it is. It's weird.
So. The first team gets that first round bye, and then everyone else, it's just an absolute Royal Rumble.
Yeah, maybe they should just like standardize it so the same number of teams from every division gets in there.
Well, when you have 15 teams in the Pacific and 4 everywhere else,
maybe they should just like
split the West up a little bit. Like here,
no, I've been trying to petition Colorado to join the Central so I could get more Eagles in my coverage for the longest time.
But you just want to check out that great bar area at the arena.
Don't give him an excuse to bring up the New Belgium Lounge because
I know it is. I know why he wants Colorado so bad. Forget the fact that it's the Eagles.
Loveland, like last year, they had this great New Belgium Lounge, Fat Tire, so much Fat Tire. The hospitality was incredible. 10 out of 10. I recommend everybody go watch a Colorado Eagles home game.
I was so upset. Like, number one, I was only able to do one game there, so I had to, be my professional self in the press box. I mean, Scott Housen was sitting right next to me. I couldn't really okay, I'll be gone for about 10 minutes, guys, and then he sees me over there. But it's like the lounge is directly across from the press box. So while you're trying to look down at the players, you just have this giant voodoo ranger just staring you in the face, and all my senses, every urge in my body is go join the party because it looks like it's so much fun. And I wish I didn't have a second
ranger. How could you not?
Well, I mean, if you don't like IPA, you probably could not. And I'm not an IPA.
Well, I do.
That's fair. That's I mean that is fair, but I am a Voodoo Ranger guy, so I kind of get where the vibes are at with that. Because I mean, come on, there's some pretty good stuff. But I get it though. If you're not an IPA fan, maybe not your thing. But...
Yeah, if you're not an IPA fan, but you really still want to try some New Belgium beer, I cannot recommend Fat Tire enough. It is
pretty good.
My all-time favorite beers. I am a beer girly, and I love it.
Yeah,
welcome to Beer Corner here at Tap.
I'm just gonna retweet all of that because I agree with that entire sentiment. I'm trying to put my missed opportunity at the Voodoo Ranger Lounge away. And
if
reminds him of it, and he's like the Wolverine in bed looking at the picture, and it's the Voodoo Ranger Lounge.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, hey, welcome to Taps. We not only talk about hockey, but we also talk beer. So welcome to the Beer Corner.
Everything.
Oh yeah, no, we don't only talk about hockey. We talk about anything, and most of it just whatever conspiracy theory comes out of my mouth.
I mean, there's a little thing of everything. If you're looking for a podcast that has it all. Welcome to Taps.
Yeah, you're in the right spot.
We're tapping into the vein of real things that matter.
And we tap in.
Hey.
We got another one on Friday. This is another. I love going interdivisional on this one. We got Rochester going into Providence, and you got the Americans are at the top of the North Division. But I mean, again, it's anyone's race. They need all the points they can get, and the Bruins are over on their side, same position as Charlotte, fighting to hopefully someone start to dethrone the Hershey Bears from the top of the mountain in the Atlantic. And, again, iron kind of sharpens iron. Whoever wins this game on Friday is going to have that inside track at hopefully, getting the throne in their division. And those are the kind of high intensity matchups I like to see. I don't want to see an interdivision matchup where it's like Iowa and Henderson. Get that out of my face. Give me more of these top teams going at it. And teams that don't usually play each other, too. That's always more fun.
Hey, you got Charlotte and Iowa, so hopefully it's a little bit better.
Absolutely.
It's not Rochester and Providence, but
it's not Bridgeport and Manitoba or something. So
it's not Bridgeport. It's not Bridgeport and San Diego. Talk about that for a matchup.
Never.
I'm going to put forth a bold strategy to predict the winner of this particular matchup, and I think the person whose straight lines are straight is going to be the team that wins, Not cockamamie, not straight, not connected to anything lines there, Providence.
Okay, you want like a weird little note though? Is that ever since
How
we
weird is
dunked
weird?
on ever since we dunked on Providence for having a non-centered logo, they've won every game.
Until now. Until they go up against somebody who has a lot of straight lines in their logo, and then it's like, okay, well, let me show you what a straight line
This is how it's done.
So what you're saying is, so they kind of got that tap bump, and now it's kind of like I see how long it actually does last against real teams with real logos. This is kind of what we're going for here.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're tapping on the shoulder, Providence, but we don't know how long it's going to last.
They haven't even given up a goal since we got them for the logo. They've shut out Syracuse and Springfield.
Zach, the thing here is that the more I talk mess about a team, the better they start doing. Here's to you, San Jose. So this is what we're working with right now. Okay, this is what we're
okay.
Oh.
Until the playoffs start, and then they just
okay. The playoffs are a different story. Okay,
we'll save that. We'll save that when we get there. We'll save that when we get there, Andrew. Andrew, we'll get there when we get there. All right, we'll get to that bridge and port it when we get there. Right?
I didn't see the vision. Now I see it. Okay.
Yes. Okay. It's about the seating, man. The seating. I need them to look. Listen. Providence can go right on ahead and get the most points in the entire league and then exit the first round. As long as they get the number 1 seed is all I care about.
And if I know anything about number 1 seeds and bowing out early in the playoffs,
oof.
I don't want to talk about it. That's those who know, they know. I'm still grieving. We're just gonna skip that and just go right into the next matchup. We got we're going back into the West Coast. We got Coachella Valley going into Ontario on Saturday. Now both of these teams, I mean they're not terribly far off from Calgary, but I feel like this is more just a battle for the second spot in the Pacific Division. You got Coachella, Colorado, and Ontario all within just a couple points of each other, 1 point of each other, actually. And so here's your opportunity to really make a statement for Ontario, who I think could really use this booster. Coachella, who is a completely different team from the squads that went to the Calder Cup finals, but they're still at the top. And I don't want to say I'm like annoyed by that, but like they just keep winning.
Yeah, I'm
culture, man, power of friendship.
No, I'm all in on Ontario because like we have said so many times, is a team that has been struggling so hard, just with like LA mismanaging prospects and like having kind of mediocre picks and just not developing players well. But Ontario now, LA's kind of helping them out, throwing them some bones. We've got, the leadership in the team is cementing and finding its like cohesion within, the leadership team so that everybody else gets, the same kind of support and whatever. When we talk about culture, Ontario's has turned around, and I like them for it because they are this season's little plucky, stick-to-itive, like pull the win out no matter what the cost team, and I'm here for it. Go Ontario, let's go.
I do like that real veteran element from this Ontario squad. It's really dangerous, and I mean all about Charles Hudon. That comes from he was just an absolute monster over in Laval for many years.
He still looks like Snidely Whiplash, though.
I'm here for it. And I really thought this team was going to take a step back when TJ Tynan went back to Colorado, but they really haven't. And, Sam Fujimo still scoring goals. Glenn Gaudin's leading in over a point a game there. And it's still a solid squad. I love their 2 goalies in Copley and Portillo. Yeah, once the playoff starts, I think this could be a real dangerous squad in that just gauntlet in the Pacific Division. But
I think with those goaltenders, I mean, talk about a tandem that's very underrated. I think it's probably one of those in the Pacific that can be, if they get hot at the right time, it's still a lot of games. Like you said, Andrew, this could be our team in Ontario that could, possibly reign over some other teams as well and ruin their days. So
I know.
I could definitely see it. Hey, we always love a Cinderella team that kind of shocks everyone. Wouldn't that be mad if it's Ontario? Because they, like what Dee said, they are a team that's been trying so hard to get to that next step. And if we feel like we're finally seeing that, and wouldn't be upset if we get some fresh blood that can do some damage in the playoffs. So would not be upset with an Ontario run.
Absolutely.
Big fan of the rain. I love the rain. Big fan.
The jerseys and the logos are so
clean.
So fresh.
It's so good. To me, Ontario is such a good example of like what you can do taking your parent team's like logo and branding and colors and everything, but making it your own.
100%.
Making it like fitting it to your identity where you still know where you came from. And I love it.
Looking at you, Bridgeport, and all these other Iowa Wild.
We've given enough screen time to Bridgeport.
Okay, the Iowa Wild. I'm sorry, there's nothing wild. There's nothing wild about Iowa. There's nothing wild about Iowa.
Your weekly reminder that Iowa are hockey team thieves, and we wish nothing but downfall on them.
See, another team that's done a good job of making their own identity that's kind of close to their parent club, but it's not as bad, is the Calder Wranglers, for the fact that you're still getting like the vibes of the jerseys, but you're the Wranglers, you're not the Flames. And I would say the logos, the Wranglers logos and jerseys are just top notch. So yeah, props to them for actually, kind of taking that element of their parent club, but making their own flavor of it. So yeah.
I think
even the Abbotsford Canucks too. The Abbotsford Canucks done it's the same name, but it's the alternate logos on those jerseys.
The Johnny Canuck logo is the best logo in hockey, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
That's the only team I'm okay with having the same last name as their parent club and doing it in a way that it just works with the whole aesthetic. So,
and by and large, the Canadian teams have been really good at it. Like they've just been really good at it. Like the Rocket, hello. Hi.
I mean,
you literally named your team after the first guy to be the best to ever play hockey. Like, hello, hi. They have a number 9 with rocket thrusters on their sleeves. The old school collegiate R with the rocket going down the stand. Hello, hi. Even, you know what? The Marlies. All right, they were an old team that has existed for like a long, long time. But the way they've tied themselves into the Maple Leafs branding, but still keeping the red and the purple and the gold of the crown on the Marley leaf, awesome. The Belleville Senators, gives you that old-timey hockey styling of like the Senators that won the Stanley Cup before the NHL even existed. The first team to ever win the Stanley Cup were the Ottawa Senators. The Belleville Senators give you that kind of vibe. They've done so well. The Manitoba Moose exist, and they have a really cool font.
Their numbers, and when the antlers on the numbers are like top.
Yeah.
They don't tie into the Jets at all, but they exist, and they have a really cool font.
Yeah, and you can never go wrong with the Moose because you don't really get a lot of those very much either. So yeah, it works. Can't be. Yeah, like you said, some of the Canadian teams make it work. Some of the American teams, though, would need a little bit of work on some of this branding and team naming.
Yeah, just like tie it in well, like
make it actually work to your region.
Like what's Rockford doing?
Can you imagine, like, so will we just call it like the Iowa Corn or like what?
Well, we can call them the Iowa Team Thieves.
The Iowa Bandits. There you go.
Okay, Bandits. I can work with Bandits.
The Iowa gives me my hockey team back.
I can't believe they had the audacity to actually rock the Arrows jersey. I'm
mad about it.
Oh, that's like I don't think it's as bad.
Arrows, no, go away. We earned that fair and square. It was named after the space and aeronautics history of my city. Do you see where it says Houston? You know why it says Houston? Because it's Space City, boys.
Yeah, it's like the Hurricanes make them they don't call themselves the Carolina Whalers on Whalers night. They just don't do that. Like, they wore the jersey because it's nostalgia to their team that they had before in the franchise. But yeah, they don't go and just change their name and do all this weird stuff like Iowa did. Like, that's like, it's one thing to take a team, but it's extra to dig the knife and like do the jerseys and the team name on top of that. That's just like, oh, here, let me just stick it in a little extra for you.
But then to make it ugly, all right? Like, to make it ugly, even the arrows were acquired by the Wild as their affiliate, and we had to add, instead of this silver here and some of the blue, we had to add the red and the gold of the Minnesota Wild.
But it still looked good.
Was it ugly?
Some jersey concepts maybe should just stay as a concept and not see the light of day.
My passion is graphic design.
Mr. Hockey.
My passion is jersey making, baby.
Look,
manufacturing.
Mr. Hockey did not come out of retirement to play professional hockey with Mark and Marty in the great city of Houston for Iowa to steal our team.
But they did.
Well, Gordy's rolling over in his grave.
R.I.P. to...
No, listen, Gordy was here the entire time Houston was.
Yep.
So for like 6 seasons, that's most of the WHA's existence. Gordy was here. He played in Houston, very vocal about loving Houston and loving Houston as a hockey city.
And that's why the NHL is really trying to get a team in Houston.
I know! No,
that would be wild. And not that type of wild, though, if we do get one.
So.
It'll be
Speaking of, I got Texas and Iowa marked on my calendar on Saturday and Sunday because, well, I don't want to say it's too late for Iowa to make a run. I mean, they're only 6 points back is what I've assumed has been kind of a real ugly season so far for Iowa. They're really not that far back from a playoff spot. But you have to get some points. And against a tough squad like Texas coming into town, you got home ice. Try and channel some of that hater energy that I was famous for and get some points.
Against Texas, though, that's a tough hill. That's a tough. Even without Logan
playoffs, you got to get points.
Without Stankoven and Bork, Texas is still Texas. I'm sorry, I don't see. They might be the Iowa mild by the end of this weekend more than anything else. Just because it's. Hey, I was. Can both teams lose? Can both teams lose?
Yes, I'm from Houston.
Sorry, I don't think it's gonna be meteor strikes, or I don't think Bane's gonna walk out onto the ice and blow the ice up.
No, so D will. D's going to be the one that blows the ice up.
For the record, I will be out
gosh.
of the country during this shindig, so it will not be me.
So no one will. It's the perfect plan. You're not going to be suspected at all.
What days are these? What day is this? When does this
happen?
Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday. I'm busy. My birthday's on Friday. I got things.
Oh, well, happy early birthday, D. There you go.
Thanks. Got things planned. I'm going to be in Montreal.
Oh,
you got one.
Sounds so bad. Sounds so bad.
Unfortunate.
Oh gosh.
One more matchup for the weekend. Another Saturday and Sunday. It's Toronto at San Jose. Not just interdivisional, but interconference matchup. And I'm really interested to see how the Marley. That's true. But how the Marlies are gonna adapt to that West Coast? I mean, that's 3 different time zones over. Probably gonna mess with them a little bit, and they got to go up against Potts in his own barn. I think he's gonna widen his point total lead this weekend if it's up to me.
Now, I will say going backwards in time is not as bad as going forwards 3 time zones in time. Going backwards, sure, you're tired, but then you can take a little nappy nap. And you get
pro naps. Definitely burn ups.
No, for sure. So going back in time, not as bad as going forward in time. 'Cause going forward in time, you're like, okay, cool, I did all this. Now I can't even sleep, so you're exhausted the next day.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Going backwards in time, you just go to bed a little bit early. Your alarm doesn't go off until the same time. Maybe get 3 extra hours of sleep. You're like, all right, this is chill. But also, it's going to be warm, so their hands are going to be unfrozen for the first time. So they're going to actually be able to like dangle.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see. I could see both things happening where Potts might get his goal points lead extended, but Toronto takes care of business in San Jose because it's the Marlies, and it makes sense. So both could be exclusively, true. That hey, he scores, but Toronto's going to do Toronto things. So
yeah, because they're like good or whatever, and I hate to say that.
Yeah, that's a tough scene, but. Toronto's Toronto.
I'm watching the Jack Malone highlight reel from the first period of this Utica game.
Oh, gosh.
Everyone at Bridgeport just looks like they hate their lives.
What's the score now for an update, just for the giggles?
Utica scored more. It's still 5-0. They must have put the backups in.
Just put... It's like, all right, boys are up 5-0. Take the foot off the gas, but don't hit the brake. Let's just coast. We'll just put it on cruise control and just get the rest of the game out of here. Let's get out.
Right. No one get hurt. Just kind of roll it along for the rest of this.
That's brutal when you're down 5-0 and the other team is on cruise control. You're kind of like, wow, this is kind of disrespectful.
They're gonna start trying out plays that they couldn't get done in practice. Just like, why not? Couldn't hurt.
Here's some matchups. You go with you go with you. Hey, you're a forward, go play defense. Hey, they're the goalie, go play forward for us. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah,
they should just put the e-book.
Let's play shinny. Let's just play some shinny hockey here.
What if they turn the money puck on?
Oh, you know what?
They could turn the money puck on. There's like a -3 money puck. That could be a game.
Where's threes when you need
it? They could crawl back into this one.
Don't say never, kids.
Just make sure you turn the puck on in AHL settings before you start the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm my bold take of the week is I don't think Bridgeport's gonna make the playoffs.
That's very bold, you Andrew. That's like the lowest type of sauce you can get on wings. That's how hot that is. Like
it's basically just mayonnaise.
No, there's just no dressing on it. It's just a dry wing with no sauce on it. Not even dry rub. It's just
salt
a wing.
And pepper. We're good, thank you.
Ooh. Ew, that'd be ew. That take off the spine where it's like, no thanks. Yeah. No.
Have we talked about how I don't like wings because I don't like having to work that much for my food, and also meat on the bone tastes disgusting.
I'm a boneless wing guy myself, so I kind of
I love chicken nuggets. I'm such a big fan of chicken nuggets. I don't mind bone in wings, but I just feel like with the fact that you get boneless, you can get the dips and dip.
Yeah, I'm like I like the meat better on boned wings, but deboned, your hands stay clean and you don't have. It's not like I get all the sauces in my beard and everything.
Exactly, it's just easier maintenance. Easier maintenance. You get more sauce.
Touches everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you dip it in the sauce, you get a little bit more of the dip on it. Instead of you having to dip it in and try to suck the sauce off as you're trying to eat the bone wing, you kind of get all the good stuff and you get more flavor. So
yeah, I just think I don't like the way the area around it tastes. It tastes like chalk to me. Like, I'm also not a big fan of like bone marrow, like eating like bone marrow as like a delicacy. I do like bone broth, but like when you cook like the bone marrow and everything, it just tastes really chalky to me. When there's not like liquid infused through it. So I refuse to eat bone-in wings. I also don't eat like T-bones. I don't eat like bone-in ribeye. I don't eat like fried chicken. It's because I don't like eating it off of the bone, and it tastes gross to me.
So basically, it's more of like you're more of like a boneless wings, chicken strips, chicken nuggets.
Nuggets. Let's go. big fan of chicken nuggets, and I get a filet mignon whenever I go to a steakhouse. So.
I mean, filet mignon is just, and especially if they wrap that thing in bacon,
Jewish.
good to go. You're good to go. So I mean,
I can't, not with the bacon. I'm Jewish. We don't eat pork.
Well, in general, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you can't do that, but you could. But yeah, the filet mignon though, without that, was still pretty solid. So I get where you're coming from. So
yeah, S&P, a minute and a half on both sides. Flip it. Grill marks, bud.
I swear to gosh, anyone puts A1 steak sauce on it, I'm slapping you. That doesn't need to be on steak. There's a perfect way to make steak without putting some sauce on it. There's a right way to do it.
And
there's a right way.
But yeah, that's the past, present, and future of what's going on in the AHL. So
along with your steak recipes and your beer and conspiracy theories, I think it's all there.
Don't
fantasy football or fantasy hockey advice.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
and fantasy football. When the fantasy season comes in, I have a lot of opinions about football players, but I could not tell you what a cornerback does.
I don't think a quarterback knows what a cornerback does. So
you'll find out next week. Thanks.
I don't know. My football teams don't do much, so it's okay. Whatever. So
I told you I'm not talking about football. The trauma. Thanks to our audience for tuning in for another week of Taps. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dee.
And
I'm Zach.
Hey, there he is. Yeah, we will be back next week with all the recaps and chaos and everything for all y'all. Well, Dee will be over in the Great White North, but don't worry, we got you covered.
Yeah, not me.
No.